Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Madam, and I'm coming back to you once again. This time, I'm going to go over to ABC News, and it says suspect white supremacist arrested in plot to attack power station, destroy Baltimore. Prosecutors said the suspects were motivated by racist extremist ideologies. And the article is by Alexander Mallin and Bill Hutchinson and Luke Barr. A Florida man and a Maryland woman have been arrested on federal charges of plotting to attack multiple energy substations with the goal of destroying Baltimore, the U.S. Department of Justice announced on Monday. The suspects, Sarah Clendell of Catonsville, Maryland, and Brandon Russell of Orlando, Florida, were allegedly fueled by a racist extremist ideology, as they conspired to inflict maximum harm on the power grid with the aim to completely destroy Baltimore. U.S. Attorneys Eric Barron, on a top FBI official, said at a Monday morning press conference. Russell is quoted in court documents saying that attacking the power transformers is the greatest thing somebody can do. He is accused of providing instructions and location information for the substations. He and Chanadel allegedly sought to target as a part of their plot, federal prosecutors said. Chanadel allegedly told an FBI confidential source she was determined to carry out the attacks amidst a Baltimore infrastructure, saying it would lay this city to waste. Their actions threaten the electricity and heat of our homes, hospitals, and businesses, said Thomas Sabajinsky, the special agent in charge of the FBI's Baltimore field office. The FBI believes this was a real threat. Shibachinsky said the two suspects had extremist views and believed that by conducting the attacks, they would bring future light to their views. Sabuchetsky declined to go into specifics when pressed by reporters. Russell, who was the founder of the notorious neo-Nazi group Adam Wathan, was incarcerated when he first met Chanadel, and both were out on probation as they coordinated their plans to attack the energy facilities, according to an affidavit in the case unsealed Monday. Russell had previously pleaded guilty in 2018 to charges of possessing an unregistered destructive device and was sentenced to 5 years in prison. His arrest on those earlier charges came after a man he was living with in Tampa, David Etheris, I apologize if I mispronounced the name, Devin Authors, killed two of their roommates and told investigators that they had been plotting to attack a nuclear plant in Florida and other energy infrastructure. After his release from prison, Russell allegedly began communicating in June of 2022 with the FBI confidential informant he encouraged to carry out attacks against critical infrastructures, according to the affidavit. In a conversation last October, Russell allegedly told the informant that putting holes in the transformers is the greatest thing somebody can do, the affidavit alleges. Russell allegedly instructed the informant to carry out an attack where there is greater strain on the grid, adding, when everyone is using electricity to either heat or cool their homes, the affidavit says. In December, Russell allegedly told the informant he knew of another person in Maryland who was also going to carry out an attack on an energy facility, and offered to connect the informant with Chanadel to coordinate their attacks to maximum impact, according to the affidavit. Uh, Chanadel, excuse me if I mispronounce these names, allegedly told the informant she expected to die of a terminal illness, her kidneys in a few months, and wanted to obtain a rifle as soon as possible to be able to carry out the attacks. According to the affidavit, she allegedly had a document on her computer referencing Hitler and the Unabomber, allegedly saying, "I would sacrifice everything for my people to just have a chance for our cause to succeed." In a recorded conversation with the informant on January the 29th, uh, Chanadel also said she planned to target 5 substations in Baltimore, the Baltimore area on the same day, including one in Norrisville, Ricestown, and Perry Hall. According to the affidavit, Chanadel described how there was a ring around Baltimore, and if they hit a number of them all in the same day, they would completely destroy the whole city, the affidavit alleges. Both Chanadel and Russell were scheduled to make their initial federal court appearance on Monday, Chanadel in Baltimore and Russell in Orlando. Chanadel made her appearance alongside her court-appointed attorney, Christian Hopkins, and agreed to the government's request to remain in detention until the trial. This is a very serious development and suggests that the far-right threat inside the United States, and specifically neo-Nazi white supremacy threats, is still very acute. Uh, Javed Ali, the former senior director of counterterrorism at the National Security Council, told ABC News her preliminary hearing is set for February the 15th. The arrests come after a series of attacks on energy substations nationwide, including one in December in North Carolina that left 45,000 utility customers without electricity for days and prompted local officials to declare a state of emergency. The Department of Homeland Security has warned about similar attacks recently. A National Terrorism Advisory System bulletin issued in November 30th said individuals and groups motivated by a range of ideological beliefs and personal grievances continue to pose a persistent and lethal threat to the homeland. Power grid targets have long been the focus of domestic extremists here in the United States. Ali, now a professor at the Ford School of Public Policy, told ABC News, "This perception of vulnerability, it's fairly easy to wake up close to one unless it's guarded with lots of perimeter security. Other extremists in the past have thought about different ways of attacking energy targets in the United States, whether through explosive devices, small arm attacks, or some combination of those." In January, 2 men were arrested in Tacoma, Washington, and charged with conspiracy to damage energy facilities and possession of unregistered firearm. Prosecutors said the suspects attacked 4 substations in the Tacoma area, causing more than $3 million in damage. In February 2022, 3 men, Christopher Brenter Cook, age 20, Jonathan Allen Frost, age 24, and Jackson Matthew Swallow, age 22, pled guilty in federal court in Columbus, Ohio, to crimes related to a scheme to attack power grids in the United States furtherance of white supremacy ideology. As part of the conspiracy, each man was assigned to a substation in a different region of the United States to attack with rifles, believing their plan would cost the government millions of dollars, cause unrest for Americans, and even prompt a race war, federal prosecutors said. And that is the end of the article right there. Apparently, this is a thing. It comes out, and it's kind of funny because when Trump was president, there was a story that ran about white supremacists and, how they were starting to ramp up their, attacks and plans and things of that nature, and it was literally like swept to the side. Nobody really did anything about it. They were essentially almost, given free range to do and say a lot of things that were reported and seen on the news and in the media. Um, so, I mean, I'm not surprised by this. However, you know, taking down a power grid is one thing that I mean, like, how do you think people's lives are going to end and stop? Especially people of color. People of color have always been resilient and things, and I'm just not tooting the horn. It is what it is. It's being that people of color were always given a lesser, they had to do with certain things less than others. I'm pretty sure if, what I'm saying, power go out, what I'm saying, and they would put together something, what I'm saying, put some candles together, make a homemade stove so you can cook, get hot water, whatever the case is. So I mean, when you really look at it from my viewpoint, and that's where I'm looking at it from, it would be more of a hit to, the government more so than the resilient people that live in this country. You have to understand, all of us are privileged to have the necessities like electricity, water, and things like that. But if need be, a lot of people, I do believe, will be able to survive, in terms of not having electricity, not, water and things like that. Especially people that, what I'm saying, quote unquote, live in the ghetto, live in the hood, and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's really stupid to me. But I mean, this is the kind of thought process that people have, to think that, for one, whatever their thought process is that they have to hurt millions of other people just so this quote unquote their children or whatever the case is, or their legacy can be cemented. If that's the case, just have more kids. You know what I mean? Like it's really crazy to me. I would love to have a discussion about this. So please drop down in the comment section, and if you want to, I definitely would not mind doing a panel or a call-in to talk about these issues, how this divides us, how this is not serving as a step in the right direction. So please drop down in the comment section and chop it up with me. I definitely would love to hear from you. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And as always, I am so thankful that you chose to watch this video. Pretty much. And I will get with you guys in the next one.